Hey, what's going on, guys? Mtashed here, and today I am making a tier list. I am making a tier list for hand cannons. I think I might do this for every weapon, but I'm gonna have to play with more to really be the judge. I haven't shot a scout rifle or a pulse rifle in a long time, but I figured I would make one for the hand cannons. I'd have some fun with it, and we'll discuss what is the best hand cannons out there. Most of you probably already know, but I want to give you some inside info on a couple of these. I want to give you a couple of inside info on a couple of these guns here. Now, in the D tier, I've put most hand cannons. There's a bunch of 180s, or sorry, 110s. There's a bunch of 140s in here that are like static rolls. They're D. They're D tier, right? They're not bringing anything to the table. Some of them might even be E tier. Some of them, right? Most hand cannons, you know, especially on PC, they're good no matter what. On console, though, I can see them being even lower. So we're going to just put most hand cannons are D tier. Some of them are E tier, if we're taking both consoles and PC into consideration. But then there's these guys. I think that these are some of the big poobas. There's some Black Armory stuff and little ones here and there. I don't care. They're not valuable enough. I don't care about them enough. And whatever you can do with those guns, you can probably do with these guns. So let's get started. We're going to start off with the first hand cannon. Okay? This is Better Devils. And what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to post them just like this. Look at that. Look at that magicry. Now, back in the day, explosive shot, this was the only hand cannon. There was old-fashioned as well. But even now, if you get a good roll in one of these things, it can be pretty good. But the issue is the base stats on it. Is this gun really that good? Is it really bringing anything to the table more than others? Probably not. The frame it has, the aim assist values, the reload speed, the overall range, this thing is not amazing. But with the proper roll, you know, you can get rangefinder on it. I'm going to put it right in the C tier. I'm going to put Better Devils in C tier as something that it works, but I'm not freaking out about this thing. I don't think, oh my god, I got to have a Better Devils, right? It's not year one. Let's move on from it. Now, what about the Sunshot? Let me grab this a little tighter. The Sunshot, my friends, this gun has one of the smallest magazines for a hand cannon, which makes it terrible in a lot of situations, but it is a 150. The overall stats on the gun aren't great. I'm actually going to put this in the D tier. Until this gets a buff, I would rather use a ton of different guns. This thing is also the size of a giant potato in your hands, and so when you're shooting it, it's in your face like this, like you can't even see anything. So I'm going to put Sunshot in the D tier. Not a fan. Rose. Rose, when masterworked, is one of those guns that, you know, it's bringing quite a good hit registration. It's got some good range. It feels overall good. It's got one of the best perks in the game, Outlaw. This is a good hand cannon. Now, is it A tier? Is it S tier? Depends. If we're looking at PvP and PvE, it's dropping down into the B tier, if not C tier, because it's missing a perk. It doesn't have Rampage. It doesn't have any kill clip or anything like that, right? But it is a 150, and in PvP, it is very good. Okay, it's very smooth to use. This is almost in B tier, but because it's missing a perk, it's hard to put it there. We've got other options that I could put here. I think executive decision, I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it in the middle. I know you're not supposed to put it in the middle, but I'm going to put it right in the middle because in PvP, I think it's B or even almost A tier. In PvE, it's dropping even lower, so I'm going to put it right in the middle there. I'm going to put it as a B or a B minus or a C plus. Now let's talk about the Duke. Everyone is going to rage. Everyone is going to rage about this. F tier. This is not a meme. This is not a meme. This gun is shit! Okay, I'm actually gonna put it in the D tier. I'm gonna put it in the D tier. Okay, everyone's like, but you can two-tap with this thing! You can two-tap with it, Michael! Shut the hell up. You can't even get 2 shots off before someone kills you. This gun shoots like in slow motion. 1. 2. Brothers, you're not getting a 2-tap off. You're not even gonna get the first kill to get the 2-tap off in PvP. And in PvE, I've had the god roll of this thing. The hit registration on it is ass. This gun is brutal. I do not know how people use this gun. It's going in the D tier. I don't care what anyone says. You can agree to disagree, but you're wrong. Oh, where do we go next? Let's go with the trust. Let's change up the tempo. Let's go in the opposite. Let's go as fast as we can with a 180. Now, 180s on console, I know are much, much better than the old PC. On PC, 180s are not absolutely god tier. But on console, I know 180s are pretty good. So I know this has a lot of value on console. If you get the god roll, it can be good in PvP and PvE. I think Trust is going to go in the B tier. Now, I'm going to put it in the B tier because, yes, it can be great. But I still think that there's some better options out there in a lot of situations. And we're going to stick with the B tier here. B is good. A B is a good gun. You can use this gun if you love this gun. If you master this gun, you're going to love it. But I'm not going to be like, oh my god, it's amazing. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now we're going to go with the old PvE king and still PvE king. The Midnight Coup. Now Midnight Coup has fallen off a little bit. Actually, because of this gun right here, right below it. Because I can build a service revolver as good, if not better, than a Midnight Coup. And this gun feels a lot better. So Midnight Coup is missing a mod slot, a mod perk. And that reduces things a little bit. You can push out the range of some other guns. And so Midnight Coup is very good. It used to be S tier because there was no other good, PvE weapons. I would say it has fallen to grace a little bit, or fallen from grace, I should say. A tier, I think, is pretty fair, but I think I'm going to put it in the B tier. Now, the reason why is because it got its recoil pattern nerfed, and so in PvP, it is a shell of its former self. It is still a good weapon, but it's not great. It's not amazing. In PvE, there are some other weapons you could use that probably are better, and honestly, with the meta that's changed, Mountaintop in this slot is just more valuable. So even though this used to be amazing, there is just better kinetic options for damage. Now we're going to look at one of my favorites lately, and this is the Austringer. Now, the Austringer is a 140, and 140s don't bring a lot to the table. They kill slower than 150s. You still have to land 3 headshots with this gun. There's no real benefit to using a 140. But if you look at, did I call it Ice Luna? I think I called it Ice Luna. Maybe I didn't, but Austringer. The reason why Austringer is going to be ranked higher is because you can build one for PvP, and you can build one for PvE. And I think they're going to do fantastic in either. Extremely, extremely good in either. You can jack up the magazine size. You can throw a mod on it. You can get Rampage. You can get Outlaw. You can get Rangefinder. There's a ton of different ways to build this gun. And so for that reason, I'm going to put it in the A tier. This is going to be our first A tier gun. As for overall time to kill, no. It might not be the best, but you can win at ranges that other guns can't compete. You can push pulse rifles with this. And again, that ability to use it in PvE, I think is really valuable. Now we're going to go with this guy. This gun, oh my goodness. The rage about this gun, the hype about this gun. Now in the past, it was obviously S tier. There's no question about it. It was one of the best guns in the game. PC, console, it doesn't matter. Now on console, I know it's still really good. Probably, honestly, S tier. It really is S tier. Maybe like an A+ tier. Maybe not quite S tier, but on console, this is one of the best guns in the game still, from what I've heard. Now, on PC, it's fallen off quite a bit, and in PvE, I find this thing really lackluster, especially when you could use something like Recluse in that slot. So I'm actually going to bring this down. I'm actually not going to bring it down into the A tier. I'm going to bring it down into the B tier. Yes, it's better on console, but on PC, it's pretty average, and PvE, it's pretty average. I can't bring it into the A tier. I just feel dirty about it. And pretty much the same thing is going to go with the Service Revolver. Now, the Service Revolver is a 180 as well. And that's a good gun. That's fine. It's good on console. It's average to below average on PC. But you can actually build this to be a little bit better than the Not Forgotten. However, it is taking that kinetic slot. And no matter how you build it, I would probably want Midnight Coup. I would probably want Midnight Coup instead. So I'm going to leave it in B tier because it's good on console. But Midnight Coup, I think, is just a better gun in a lot of situations. And so we're going to leave it in the B tier. It's going to stay there. You can't change my mind. Now we're going to get the Crimson. The Crimson is absolutely, without a doubt, F tier. This gun is terrible. In PvE, you're using an exotic slot. The shot registration is like a pulse rifle, except you have a hand cannon range, meaning at a distance, this thing feels like a potato. Even with the Catalyst. Maybe with the Catalyst, you're getting into E tier. I'm going to say with the Catalyst, you're getting into E tier. But this thing is a piece of dumpster trash. Crimson is a worst gun. Get the hell out of here. Now, I'm going to use my Waking Vigil. Waking Vigil is tough. It's in the energy slot, so you're competing against Recluse. But the God roll is so good in PvP, and maybe this isn't as much as on console, but I'm going to say that this gun is so good that in PvP, it is an almost S tier weapon. In PvE, there's no absolutely amazing rolls that I'm like, oh my god, I gotta have that, and I'm going to use it over Recluse. So I'm going to put this in the A tier. I'm going to put a God-rolled Waking Vigil in A tier for sure. Now, Ace of Spades. I'm just kind of randomly picking these. Ace of Spades at launch, right when it first came out, with Forsaken, S tier. Even on console, it was pretty good. I think that it works in PvE in some situations. It's almost a better Sunshot, oddly enough. I think that the range on this is so good that you're able to challenge at a very far distance that's valuable. It allows you to two-tap some people, or at least it used to. I think with some of the changes, it has brought it down a little bit. I think overall, it's almost an S tier. But it's not quite as dominant as it used to be for some reason, and I think that's because of some other guns. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. But I'm going to put Ace of Spades in the A tier. It's not quite S tier. S tier is like 1 or 2 guns, 3 guns that are the best guns in the game, and you can't compete with them. And if you're not using them, you'll probably lose to them. I think that's the best way to measure it. It's like S tier. If you're not using an S tier gun against it, you're going to lose most engagements. A tier, these guns will win most engagements. B tier, these guns can win a lot of engagements, depends on the person you're fighting. And then C tier is like, you can use it, but there's probably better options in a lot of situations, right? Now, this is going to be a unique one. This is going to be the first S tier gun. Now, hear me out. This gun is terrible. This is like a E tier or F tier gun in PvE. Absolutely trash gun in PvE. Last word is a joke. But it is so SS plus tier in PvP, especially on console. And even if you tap the trigger and learn it on, especially on PC. But even if you learn how to tap the trigger and recoil pattern correct, on console, you can make this a pretty much S tier gun. And it's like an A tier gun. But on PC, it is so good. And it is so frustrating to play against, and it is so obviously strong when used. I'm going to put this in the S tier right now, mostly for PvP. If we're looking at the overall gun, it's like a C tier gun because it's so bad in PvE. But if I don't put this in the S tier, I'm going to feel wrong because I know it has some S tier qualities, and you don't use this gun in PvE. So why are we even measuring that? Why is that even in the freaking info? Okay. Now we're going to talk about Thorn. Thorn is an interesting one. I think that this is one of those guns as well. In PvE, it's low tier, like D tier. I really don't think this is a valuable gun, especially for an exotic. There's better weapons you can take. But in PvP, it's not quite S tier either. It is definitely good, but a lot of the value comes from the burn and the way the orbs currently work and how you have to go chase them down. I find it pretty meh. And because there's better 150s out there, in my opinion, like Waking Vigil, I'm actually not even going to put the Thorn in A tier. I'm going to put it in B tier. There are moments when it shines and could be, an A tier gun, but I think it's situational, and so I'm going to put it in the B tier. It can obviously be good. You can obviously master it. It's obviously valuable, but it's not quite there yet. Now we're going to look at the Malfeasance. Malfeasance. When is the last time you saw someone shooting the Malfeasance? Or killed you with a Malfeasance? Ever. It doesn't bring enough to the table because it's a 180 and the damage numbers are pretty meh. The stats on it are pretty meh. The perks on it are pretty meh. And it just doesn't do enough. I'm actually going to put Malfeasance in the D tier. Now I'm going to put it in the D tier because it's not quite as bad as the Crimson, but Malfeasance is a pretty bad gun. I wouldn't recommend it in most situations. Lumina. This is an interesting gun. When it first came out, I was very hype on it. I was like, A tier, oh my god, it's so sick. And then I started playing more PvE with it, and I realized the perk, the Noble Round, doesn't stack with other damage sources, and instantly reduces the value of this thing. The hit registration on it is kind of meh. I don't love it. I'm actually, oddly enough, I know, I'm actually going to put this in the C tier. Now, this might shock some people, but I honestly don't see Lumina, whatever you want to call it. I don't see this being a top tier weapon for me. I don't love it. I don't think it brings enough to the table. I think it's situational. It has the same issues as Thorn, and it's staying in the C tier, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now we're going to talk about Spare Rations. It sucks. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Are you kidding me? Let's just do this. S tier. S tier Spare Rations. There is, this gun is incredible. Spare Rations can be built for PvP. It can be built for PvE. It can have rapid hit, rampage, kill clip, multi-kill clip, 4 times a charm. There's ricochet rounds, there's full bore. You can throw a mod on this. This gun can be incredible in PvP with rangefinder or slide shot. You can make this incredible in PvE. It brings so much to the table. It trumps Midnight Coup. It trumps Austringer because it shoots faster. It's in the kinetic slot. And again, kinetic slot for PvE, there's probably better choices. For PvE, as a hand cannon, maybe it moves down here. I think all hand cannons move down. There's nothing you can do about it. The meta for PvE is kind of set. But in PvP, this thing is so good. It is so incredible that you just can't deny how valuable this is as a gun. Putting it in the S tier, right beside its friend, Last Word. Let me make that a little bigger there. And that is it. That's the main thing. Okay, guys, there's other guns. There's other hand cannons. What, 10 paces? This isn't bringing anything to the table, boys. This is not a... no. I mean, range-wise, maybe it's the same as Better Devils, but like, 10 paces is essentially Better Devils. Nation of Beasts. It's a 140 arc weapon. Yeah, it's okay. It's not amazing. Warden's Law, piece of garbage. Primina, why would you use this over the Duke? The Duke has one more round in it and better stats. Why would you not use the Duke? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all these guns in here, and they're just not bringing anything to the table. Maybe you can't get random rolls. It's just, they're not going on the list. You know what I mean? Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.